LinkedIn is the only global social network not blocked by the Chinese government. About 10 years ago, Beijing began to clamp down on free access of information. So today, if you're doing work within the borders, you're not going to be able to use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Pinterest, Google+, Quora, Tumblr, or Reddit. Not even Gmail or Hootsuite, and definitely not YouTube. So all of those are actually banned in the borders of China. So LinkedIn has boosted its Chinese reach from 4 million in 2014 to more than 40 million today. And actually this statistic was given in December of 2019. So that number, just because of what has been going on in the past 8 months, that number has probably skyrocketed this year. For those who don't know, I'm Duc Abrahamson. I am the Executive Director of the Asian Pacific American Chamber of Commerce, or APACC. It is my mission to facilitate business relationships among Asian and the US-based companies and to promote economic advancement of the Asian Pacific Americans. So today I'm going to do this by helping you use LinkedIn to connect to each other and move your virtual networking relationships along. You can also find out more about APACC and how we can help you and your company at apacc.net. So right now, I'd like everybody to take the opportunity to go ahead and share in the chat box your LinkedIn profile. As we go along, I'm going to ask you to send each other LinkedIn connection requests, but not yet. So does everybody know how to do that? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay, so let me share a different screen here. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going, oop, nope, that's not it. Here. All right, this is, let's say you go to your home page of your LinkedIn. If you click your name in the left side panel, you're going to go to your profile page. In your URL, that's up top here, copy that, and that is your link to your profile page. And copy that and share that in the chat box. That way the rest of us can take a look and see that. Okay, and go ahead and do that now, guys. Again, feel free to view other people's profiles, but right now I'm asking you not to send requests to each other because we're going to go through that process. And I'd really like you to learn about how we're going to do that in a way that's going to increase your likelihood of getting accepted when you send a request. And what we're focusing on is we're going to talk about moving the networking relationships along. So something that if you went to an online conference or a virtual webinar or something like that, you met somebody there. How are you going to move this relationship along where it's when you meet somebody in person, you create this rapport with them and that relationship moves a lot faster. Now that everything is virtual, how are we going to utilize LinkedIn to create that rapport and that trust between two people that met virtually and move that relationship along? So I'm not going to go through the how to utilize or to update your profile or anything like that. You can Google those. LinkedIn has tutorials for those. There's a lot of opportunities out there. You can Google that and see different webinars and how and what to do for that. What I'm really going to focus on is moving that relationship along using LinkedIn and the steps on how to do that. When connecting with people on LinkedIn, I really want to highlight the fact that do not go to your to the connections page, and do not, I repeat, do not start clicking from the people you may know. Do not start clicking connect, because that is the equivalent of going to a networking event and handing out your business card to everybody in that room without having a conversation with them. So what happens is people that receive those messages, those requests to connect, feel spammed, and they're likely to decline your request. So you always want to approach a new connection from their profile page. So now I'd like everybody to pull out somebody's profile page. It doesn't matter whose profile page you pull up. You can pull up mine or somebody from the chat box. Pull up somebody's profile page and take a look at that profile page. I am going to share my screen here. And I'm going to use Vanna as an example here. So you always want to approach a new connection from their profile page. Take time to view this page, okay? Look at any type of mutual connections. If Vanna and I had mutual connections, it would show right here. It would be featured or highlighted, and it would say, I have 13 connections in common. You can then look at those connections and who are those connections. It could be because we went to school together. So everybody that's our common connections went to Wayne State, or everybody is an accountant, or everybody is in finance, or whatever the case may be. You might find out, oh, it's just random people. Somehow we're connected through networking. And in the business community, you will find, especially, personally, for myself, I find that the new people that I tend to connect with, I do have at least one connection similar to theirs. But take a look and see what your mutual connections are. Take a look at the experience. You might see, oh, she worked at a company that I used to work with at 10 years ago. You know, just to see and find those common connections with you and how best to connect with this person. Then what you're going to do is you're going to want to click connect from here. But from that page, when you click connect, you have the option to add a note. Always, always add a note. Okay. This add a note is going to make your connection request less spammy. It's going to be the reason why somebody's going to accept your request. What should your note say? Okay, so I think there are multiple ways to do this. How are you connected to this person? How did you find them? Do not say, and I repeat, do not say, we have several common contacts. I would like to add you to my profile, my professional network. Just because you have common contacts, it still sounds very spammy. And those common contacts, tell me more. What makes them common? You know, did we meet somewhere? Did we work with each other in the past? And really, this webinar is about somebody that you've already met. So let's say you went to a conference and you heard somebody speaking. So if you had if you had an experience and you went to a conference or a matchmaker and you met several people virtually and you have their business card or their name, or you heard some CEO speaking in regards to diversity and inclusion, and you want to reach out to this person. So even while you're at that conference, pull up their profile. because you're online, pull up their profile, you're listening to them as they're speaking, pull up their profile, look at them, and listen to what they have to say. And then add that to um, your, your personal message, your note here. Say, hey, Duke, I heard you speaking at this conference, and you stated this statement in regards to diversity and inclusion, and my company is very much the same, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to add you to my professional network. This is where you have to make that connection. If you do not add those key points, the likelihood of somebody accepting your requests goes down. Some people that are building their network, they might accept, but if you really wanting to make a connection and creating a relationship where it's going to go somewhere, where you're going to eventually ask them to be engaged with your company or yourself, or create a business relationship, you're going to have to do that here. And you're going to have to show them how you are connected. This is not the place to create a sales pitch, though. This is not your elevator pitch, again, because if you come at them saying that this is me, this is me, this is all about me, they're going to be like, okay, so what does that have anything to do with me? So if you're requesting somebody's to connect with somebody, you want to make them feel like they've been heard. And that's really important. If you are reaching out to me or somebody because you saw them at a conference, add those little notes within this request saying that, hey, I heard you. And because you said that, they're going to feel like you heard them. And they're going to feel like, okay, this person was listening to me. I feel heard. I'm going to now listen to what they have to say. And this is why it's so important to personalize this message. Also, within this message, there should be an ask. And when I say ask, it's the, I would like to add you to my professional network. That's the ask. I'm saying, hey, I want to connect with you. If you just send me a message in regards to, hey, I saw you at this conference, we met briefly, and that's it. You're like, okay, we met briefly, great. There's no ask, there is no action needed to be taken, and I can just decline. Be like, oh, that's a nice message. You just wanted to tell me that we met, or that you heard me. Then that's the end of the conversation. So you always want to include an ask so that that conversation continues. Okay, so adding, I would like to add you to my professional network is important to me. The reason why I also use my professional network is because there are some people out there that utilize LinkedIn as a dating app. It's not a dating app. This is not why we're connecting. So I like to add the professional network portion in my ask so that they understand that this is all very professional. If you do not add a personal note, a basic generic note is generated by LinkedIn, and it basically says, I want to add you to my professional network. That's it. What could happen when you do not add a personal note, or let's say you add a personal note and it's not personal enough, people can ignore your request. And when they ignore your request, LinkedIn gives them an opportunity to answer, do you know this person? And people will be like, well, no, I don't know this person. That's why we're not connecting. Ignore, I do not know this person. If you get 5 people to click, I do not know this person, LinkedIn then will put you in what I call LinkedIn jail, or restrict your account. And you will not have the ability to send more requests for, I think, up to 3 days. So you're basically in jail for 3 days. So avoid spamming. It's basically what it is. Don't spam people. make sure that you're sending requests that make sense. So here you can find invitations that were sent to you. So let's say, go ahead. I hope you guys during this time have sent a request to somebody. If you haven't, go ahead and do that now. Send a request to somebody within this webinar. Click one of those links down there and view their page and reach out to them, give them a personal message saying, oh, you know, we're both at this webinar and I'd really like to connect with you. If you go to the My Network, let me use this laser pointer here. So if you hit the My Network, and you will see all of the invitations that were sent to you. This one I covered up, and we're calling him generic note because I do not want you guys to know who this person is. They sent me a message, and it is, I see we share common connections and that you are based in Detroit, and we could benefit by connecting here. Please accept my invitation. My issues with this is, who do we have in common? I could easily hit up here where it says Ruben and 12 others. I could hit there and see why. It might show that all of these people are in the supply chain, that they do office supplies, or like, I don't know. So even the fact that we have common connections does not help me. And the reason why I also try to avoid this, because this has happened to me in the past, where somebody connected with me because we had common connections, and then they used my name to connect with my connections. And I quickly blocked them because that really hurt my connections. My connections reached out to me and they're like, hey, did you give my name to so-and-so? Because he's reaching out to me saying that, you know, you're our common contact. So this is why I do ignore certain messages. But instead of ignoring this message, I actually hit reply. And I was able to send him a note asking, like, you know, how are we connected? So I hit reply, and basically I sent him a message and asked him, how are we connected? Now, if somebody sends me a request without a note, it shows up like this. There's no way for me to reply. There's no link for me to reply like it does up here. So I have this option right here. See all. And it's 22, but basically what that shows me is a list of people that I received requests from. And then from there, I can message them and ask them, how are we connected? And I often give them an opportunity to let me know. Hey, did we attend a conference together? Did we work together? How are we connected? And then oftentimes they'll respond, yes, we were actually here together and I talked to you briefly and I'd like to connect to you here. Then that makes sense. Those people that do not respond, I just ignore them. Again, because I don't know what their intentions are. And for me, LinkedIn is a way for me to actually connect with people. That's the point of LinkedIn. And I don't want people to connect with me and then take advantage of all of my connections by reaching out to them and saying, hey, I'm connected to Duke and I want to reach out to you. That hurts my connections. So does anyone have questions right now while I pause? Leonie, can you see?
I'm on the chat and I don't see any questions coming in right now.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Duke, I actually
I
have a
don't know, my
question.
internet keeps
This is
crashing
Julie.
today.
Okay, go ahead, Julie.
I often get the offers about upgrading to the premium LinkedIn. Are you going to talk about that later?
Yeah, actually, everything that I'm going to talk about right today, you don't need premium to do that. And
Okay.
to tell you the truth, everything that you really need to do, there's no point in paying for premium. I got premium free at one time and I just tested it out, and there was nothing more to the premium that actually helped me along with creating connections using LinkedIn. So I mean, that's for me. That might not be the same for everybody else, but for me, and I'll speak to you in regards to some of the premium offers. But this is it for me. It wasn't something I really must have.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have question.
This is
Can I have
Patrick.
question? Oh,
Hey, Duke,
Patrick,
this is
please.
Patrick. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, go ahead, Patrick.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Is LinkedIn Premium same as Navigator? Because I have also a Sales Navigator. Is that the same?
I do
different?
not know. I to tell you the truth,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, no worries, no worries.
I use Sales Navigator too for now.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I don't. I'm not on the sales end, so I don't use Navigator, and I don't know if the benefits through Navigator are different than premium.
Okay,
It will
thank you.
help you to
Sorry, I
get
didn't
more
mean to think
leads
sideways.
on with certain needs. Very
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah. So and I'll hit on some of those as well. So and
Question, Duke.
yes, go ahead, Dewey.
I apologize. I was calling you mistakenly. Your name is Duke, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I apologize previously. I call you not Duke. Okay, my question: how to message people that I never met before? Like I want to connect because we have similarity, and I think we can build something in the future. How should I message them? I don't want to be spammy.
And that's how you just worded it to me right now. So how basically tell them why you want to connect with them.
Okay.
The reason why you're reaching out and why you want to connect with them. Don't make it a sales pitch. So for me, and it might be just the business that I am in. It could be their needs as a company. Hey, your beliefs. You wrote a statement in regards to diversity and inclusion. I'm the executive director of APACC, and I think it would be great if we connected. You know, what is that connection between the two of you?
Okay.
And don't make it a sales pitch. Don't say like, oh, I can provide this to your company. Then they're not going to connect with you. You have to find a commonality with that person. So do some research, and that research might be outside of LinkedIn. You might just have to Google them and be like, okay, this is how I want to connect with you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep. Okay, so I also wanted to share this profile here. This is our Lieutenant Governor of Michigan as an example. His profile does not have a connect button. In its place, it actually has a follow button. The reason for this is, well, and here I'm gonna show you that you can actually hit the more button, and under more, it shows you an option to connect. The reason for this is LinkedIn has a cap to the number of first degree connections that you can have. Probably none of us here will have this issue because that cap is capped at 30,000. If you have 30,000 connections, kudos to you. Congratulations. I'd love to connect. Let's connect. But the reason why, it's a lot of times it is thought leaders, figureheads, a lot of people that are really their PR or their marketing team is really the one that's generating their LinkedIn. But you can see here that he does have connections in common with me, 21 actually. And so he is accepting connections. And there seems to be a lot of thought leaders and public figures use this to weed out people they don't know or people that they don't want to connect with, but might want to follow them. So you can go through this route by going to more and connect and going and adding your personal note there and see if this person wants to connect with you. Again, be aware that not all the time. Now, if there is somebody that you pulled up, like, you know, the CEO of some Fortune 500 company, and it shows no mutual connections, it might be because their PR or their marketing team is managing their LinkedIn, not necessarily them. You could send a connection request, but it might go to nowhere because this person is really not accepting those connections. But if it is a thought leader that you want to follow, I highly recommend that you do so. Follow these thought leaders. Following someone is not a bad thing. I highly recommend it because thought leaders might post. And thought leaders often do. Maybe our lieutenant governor might not, but if he does, I can comment on those posts and I can leave. And when you comment on their posts, leave insightful comments. Don't just say, I agree, or thank you for posting. That's not very insightful. And people in your network can see what your comments are to these posts. So the fact that you follow thought leaders gives the impression that you are staying current in your field and are looking towards the future of where your field is going as well, or leadership is going, or that you're in the know and that you're in the now, and that you're engaging with these thought leaders. It actually creates this this online branding for you and for those people that are within your connections. So they'll see that in their newsfeed. They'll see all of those comments and they might even read the article that's posted up there by a thought leader and think, oh, wow, you know, Patrick commented on this and this is so impressive. Maybe, you know, I should return that phone call that he keeps leaving voicemails for me. So those are opportunities, and you don't need premium to do any of this, by the way. Now I want everyone to take a look at the group chat again. And I hope that you've made some connections during this time and maybe look for somebody else within the group chat and maybe send another request out there. I'm going to go through some more questions and so Leonie, are there more questions out there? Or if anybody wants to add questions to the group chat or ask me questions right now, I can go through some of these questions.
Right now, there isn't.
Okay.
There's none.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
This is RJ.
Hi, RJ. How are you doing today?
Good, yourself?
Good.
I have about 3,500 contacts in LinkedIn, and most people are approaching me to be connected, and then I look at their profiles and see if that's a fit or not. Separate from that, you know, our social media team puts all our stories up on LinkedIn as well. But
yes.
Going back to my profile, if people reach out to connect with me and then I connect with them and we start a conversation, then I start telling them about the books that I've written.
Yes.
And you know, that sometimes does work, and then sometimes there's no response. But I think, is that an appropriate measure? Once you sort of get a back and forth going, then you can sort of
RJ,
about.
yes, actually, that is great. Actually, that's my next step. Once you are connected, what do you do? So I'm going to go, you want to go, once you are connected to somebody, go back to their profile. And I pulled up Leonie here. And now that, because Leonie and I are connected, I can see not only the mutual connections, we have 32 mutual connections, but I also see Leonie is celebrating 5 years with APACC. Congratulations, Leonie. Yay. So I could easily click that and start engaging with her. This is the perfect opportunity. So look on their profile page and see what opportunities you have to engage with this person. It could be just something easy as this, that they're celebrating a anniversary for work or something like that. It shows that, hey, we both work for APACC. That's great. But you might also have an opportunity to endorse somebody. So sometimes when it goes to their LinkedIn, the LinkedIn page, it also sometimes pops up here where you have the opportunity to endorse them for leadership or writing skills or for sales, whatever that is. You can take that opportunity and go ahead and endorse them, but only endorse them for something that you know that they have experience in. Don't just randomly, hey, I'm going to endorse you for these random things because it popped up there. If you don't know them for that, don't endorse them. But if there is that opportunity and you have, like, if you see somebody and it says endorse them for public speaking and you have seen them publicly speak, go ahead and endorse it. It's basically just saying, yes, this person is a good public speaker. If you scroll down further on the profile, you also see activity. So these are recent activities that Leonie had taken partake in. So because this is a new connection, you might not see their activity in your news feed right away because they just connected with you. You can then see what their last couple of activity was. If you have premium, you can see all of their activities, like see all, and then it'll say, oh, do you want premium to see all? Really, it's because it's social media and it is so much timely, it really doesn't make sense to go back, to their activity 3 weeks ago, because it's so what's happening now. And again, with social media, things change so quickly. So something that they shared 3 weeks ago might not be relevant now. But then you'll also see what they've engaged in, and you can see what's important to them and what their activity looks like. You might see that they have no activity here whatsoever. And with that, that also gives you an opportunity and say, how can I engage this person? And again, you want to show this person that you're listening to them, that you see them, that you're understanding their profile or what their needs are. And then you can then post your own articles, things that you've read from Corp Magazine or D-Business or Cranes. And when you're posting that on your profile, you can tag them. And then you can create a greater relationship that way. You want to somehow show that there is this value that you're providing. And RJ, to your question, how would you be able to connect the dots and say, hey, I want to promote my book? Well, maybe something that is happening now, and your book, you might want to take like an insert or a quote from your book and post it. Words of Wisdoms on Wednesdays, and you post it every Wednesday and you put an insert of that, and then with a link in the comment section. Don't put it within the actual post, because LinkedIn does something in regards to that. If you put a link within the post, the algorithms for LinkedIn actually decreases that likelihood that everybody sees that. And the reasoning for that is that links outside of LinkedIn, they don't want to promote you leaving their site. So they decrease the value of that. So if you put, let's say, a picture or of your quote, or put your quote up there, you then say, link in comments, and then you go to your comments, and then you put your link to your book there, or more information in regards to your book there. And then you might say, oh, you know what, this quote, I saw so-and-so speaking, or so-and-so put something in regards to an article based on this quote. I'm going to tag them here. And you can do that. You can tag them within your comments, and then they can see that's like a direct invitation for them to take a look at your posting, and that they tagged you. And then again, they feel that you've heard them. They know now that you know that this is important to them. You heard them, and then you're sharing this. And now whatever you post, they feel is valuable. They're listening to you now, and they're more likely to click on your links for your book, because they're like, hey, I just posted something in regards to this, and here RJ's posting a quote from his book. Maybe I should read his book. That makes sense. There's a dot to dot there. There's a connection there. Definitely do that.
I have a question.
Go
There's
ahead,
a question
Leonie.
on chat. What would you recommend when you cannot send a message to someone because they have a premium profile and the only option is to only connect?
You have to connect with them. If they don't want to connect to you, and that's the reason why that they don't want to connect to you. That's why that they have that premium, and they're blocking you from creating that connection. You're going to have to leave LinkedIn to find a way. Now, I'm also going to show you something that that is available without premium. So if you hit contact information here, you're going to see an opportunity. It'll pop up. I'm sorry. Okay. So if you hit contact information here, what you're going to see is Leonie's contact information. So because Leonie put in there her email address, you then can email her. But I highly recommend not emailing somebody without asking them for permission first. And to do that, you send them a message. You send Leonie a message. And this is great because you are now connected to Leonie, and you send her a message. And in that message, you say, hey, this is how we're, I just want to reach out to you because of this, blah, blah, blah. And I'd love to have coffee with you, a Zoom coffee with you. Can I, is this email address the best way to contact you? So, and don't forget to add your contact information. So in that message, does that make sense? Does that make sense to everybody out there? So again, there is a way for you to view her contact information. Not everybody updates this. Not everybody puts their contact. And sometimes you will see their contact information is actually a Gmail. So it's a personal email. So that's why you're also asking permission. And asking permission is really inviting that communication between the two. If they say no, then they said no. It's like dating, networking and creating relationships and moving these relationships along. It's like dating, and you're asking permission to call somebody. You're asking permission to email somebody. And if they say yes, you already know that next step is going to be a yes. And And this works for me all the time. And I'm going to give you guys this little tip. When I send a message and I say, hey, thank you for connecting with me. I'd love to buy you coffee and do a Zoom meeting. Is this email address the best way to contact you? I want to buy them coffee. So I need that email address so that I can send them a Starbucks gift card and schedule a Zoom meeting. And then we'll be drinking coffee on a Zoom meeting virtually. So I've already, you know, that likelihood of them accepting that meeting request is a lot higher. Because we're living in a virtual world now, you can't take somebody out to coffee, but you still can take somebody out to coffee by sending them a Starbucks gift card, by saying, hey, I'm going to do this coffee meeting with you on Zoom. So we're both there drinking coffee. And if they're not a coffee drinker, then maybe find something else. They might respond, I'm not a coffee drinker, but yeah, I'd love to have a Zoom meeting with you. Or, you know, like, hey, can I buy you lunch, and send them Uber Eats, whatever the case may be, however your budget allows for it, or what you're comfortable in doing. Again, this is relationship building, and you're taking that opportunity to create that connection with this person, something that you would do in person. Let's do that virtually. If you're going to take somebody out to coffee, take them out to coffee. If you're going to take somebody out to lunch, take them out to lunch. Just because we're doing it virtually now doesn't mean we don't do it. The likelihood of them accepting is higher if you're going to reach out to them that way and meet with them. So that's going to take you to that next level, right? You're creating this relationship with them, and you're doing that virtually. If you spam them, it's always a no thank you. It's always a no thank you. And there is a way, you don't need premium. There is a way for you to actually download contacts, all of your contacts from all of your connections, your LinkedIn connections. And I'm not going to go through it here, but that's an option. You can look it up. You can Google it. LinkedIn actually shows you how to do that as well. The reason why I'm not going to go through it here is because what you've created is now a spam list. So you can download this contact list, and you have everybody's email address, and then you send them, you add them to your mailing list, your newsletter, and then you put them on that mailing list. And what happens is, and this has happened to me actually several times, I've been added to a mailing list. What I then, right after I connect with somebody, within a day or two, I'm added to their mailing list. I start getting these ads in my inbox. I immediately know it's them because it's their company. I then I add that email address to my spam folder, and then I go back to LinkedIn and I block them. And that's not the type of relationship that you want to do. So I highly recommend to avoid that. If you want to go through and just look up somebody's contact information, do that, go through their profile. And the reason why I also recommend you going through their profile is because they can see who visits their profile. You don't need premium to see who's visited your profile page. You get to see up to the last 5 people that viewed your profile page. Now, if you have premium, I think you can see up to 90 days worth of people visiting your profile. Again, if you have that many people visiting your profile, maybe you do need premium. I don't have that many people visiting my profile the last 90 days, but I'm also on LinkedIn every day. So I can see who's viewed my profile. And I don't need to go back 90 days to see who viewed my profile 90 days ago.
You guys have a question?
Go ahead.
How do you block someone whom you have already connected with?
Okay, let's go there. I'm going to now share my page here. Okay, so let's go to my network. And go to my connections. And let's say Rachel. She is the corporate affairs spokesperson for Kroger. And let's say she has been spamming me. How do I block her? I can unfollow from more. So basically I go to her profile page, I hit more, I can unfollow her, remove the connection, block, and report. Depending on the behavior of this person, I can just remove the connection. Or if they were inappropriate, I then block them and report them for their inappropriate behaviors. LinkedIn is great in regards to getting rid of fake profiles. So if it's a fake profile, or if you're getting, you're having issues with this person because of some reason or another, that's a great way to go about it.
Thank you.
Okay, now let me go back to this screen here. So other opportunities to contact somebody, or to other opportunities to connect. If you see a contact posting a job opportunity in the newsfeed, like and share that post to your newsfeed with a comment, for my contacts in Ann Arbor, or for my fundraising peeps looking for new opportunities. They will be notified that you liked and shared their post. Again, you're creating this relationship where they see value in the relationship with you. They see like, hey, this person is sharing my stuff. They care about me. So when they reach out to me, I'm going to care about them. That's really what you're doing with LinkedIn here. Again, you do this in person anyways. This is the type of relationships you're creating, these relationships. So when you're creating relationships in person, you want them to know that you are listening, that you care about them, so that they will then care about you. This is how we're doing it using LinkedIn. We're showing them like, hey, the posts that you post, I'm going to like them. I'm going to comment on them. If they're job postings for your companies, I'm going to share that with my network. And the rest of your network is going to appreciate that too, especially right now where a lot of people are going to LinkedIn to look for job opportunities. You want to make sure that you're sharing those with your network. If you read an article and you share it to your news feed, and then in your comments, you tag people. Like I said this before, when you're tagging people, make sure you, in that comment section, make sure you add, hey, I wanted to tag you here because, so that they know why you're tagging them. If you just tag them, that doesn't help. And for those people that don't know how to tag somebody in a comment, basically what you do is you use the @ sign and start typing their name. And when you start typing their name, it'll come up as an option and you click it, and that's how you tag somebody. And actually, that's how you tag companies as well. So if you are posting an article in regards to, hey, I read this article and Ford just posted, tag Ford. Tag whatever company that's listed in the article. More people are going to see you and your post because you're tagging people on that. And companies like it's the smaller companies, the bigger companies, any company is going to like the fact that you also tag them. So let's say you were at a conference, or you're going to a conference, let's say, and there's a lot of virtual conferences coming up or that have been happening. Post that on your newsfeed. If you are going to a conference, post, hey, I'm going to this conference. Hope to see you guys there. Let me know if you're going to be there. Let's connect. This also gives an opportunity for somebody that might see your post and be like, hey, I am going to be there. Comment on that. And they're like, hey, let's get coffee after the conference and talk. There, you've created this connection, and then you're taking it off the virtual world kind of into a Zoom meeting and getting coffee. Opportunities for you to create that relationship and make it more than it is. Follow their companies. Follow APACC. If you follow their companies, you can see more ways to engage with them. Use their company page to its fullest potential. Your company probably has a page of its own, so follow your company's page as well. And anything that your company is posting, you should be sharing that in your newsfeed. And if there are opportunities for you to tag people, definitely tag them. If not, just tag your company. That way people get used to seeing your posts and knowing what you're about and what your company is about. They now know what you're about and what you have to offer. When an opportunity comes up, they then will reach out to you. You don't have to be reaching out to them. LinkedIn is a great way for you to PR yourself. Share those things, share those PR opportunities, put it out there, and people are going to see it. And they need to see it multiple times. I'm not gonna lie. It's sometimes you see it 3 times before it sinks in, and you're like, oh, you know what? I know who has, I need a new office in my home, and my back has been hurting because I've been sitting on this bench. And you're like, oh my God, I saw a post from Howard the other day in regards to this new chair that they have. Maybe you should connect with Howard, and then do those connections, make those connections. Those are great opportunities for you to post your company, and highlight your company and highlight yourself at the same time. Okay. Anybody have questions before we're running out of time, so I'm going to try to move a little bit faster here.
No question at this point.
Okay, great. So I'm going to show you again.
I wrote question to
Go
you,
ahead.
Lily, and to Leonie too. Okay, I will just ask you. Which email I should put on my LinkedIn, personal or my company?
Well, it depends on what your goals are.
Okay.
For somebody looking for a job, I would use your personal.
Okay.
For somebody that is trying to make connections for your company, for work, for business, if you're in business development, I recommend using your work email. And I recommend using the email that you check the most often.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Other questions? Concerns? Oops. I think I keep sharing the wrong screen here. So I'm going to share my LinkedIn screen one more time. Let me see now. Where is that? And you can see from my profile, and I highly recommend updating your profile, adding pictures here. Also, if within your work there is articles that your company shares or that you share, or videos that you have about yourself or that you've done interviews with in that company, add those to your experience so that people have an opportunity to connect with you in different ways, that they can click it and view it. LinkedIn also has a blog. So this blog is a great opportunity to share your thoughts and point back to your company, back to your experiences, back to your book, or whatever it is. You have that platform, and if you put it out there, people will find it and they will reach out to you and they will find opportunities for you. So, you know, when people say, I'm going to put that out in the universe, what that really means is make it productive. What are you putting out in the universe, especially for your online branding? And this is, LinkedIn is about online branding, how you're presenting yourself. If you're presenting yourself at work at a networking event and you always wear a black suit and black tie, how are you presenting yourself on LinkedIn? If you're more humorous in person, be a little bit more humorous in your personal notes, and but be sure it comes off well, that it makes sense, that it's not that somebody can't take it the wrong way. But build that relationship utilizing LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an opportunity for you to really make those connections, and those connections, the way you did business in real life, you can utilize LinkedIn to continue doing those business that way in real life on LinkedIn. So any last questions? I think this is it, really. I want to thank everybody for coming. I also want to remind everybody to visit APACCC.net. We have events and on our events calendar. I also want for everybody to save the date for March 3rd, 2021. That's going to be our 18th annual East-West Business Connection. So that's a great opportunity for you to connect with everybody else. This is one of our signature events. It's a global supplier diversity matchmaker. This event attracts nearly 350 attendees, including more than 50 corporate buyers who will meet virtually with minority business owners for specific procurement needs. So you can find more information on APACCC.net. I also want to remind everybody and thank everybody for coming
Duc,
today.
there is a question, Duc.
Okay.
Not connected with LinkedIn, but this person has seen a lot of people using she or he, she or her on their names.
Yes.
After their names, what is the purpose?
Well, that is well, for me personally, I use it because my name is Duc Nguyen Abrahamson, and I get a lot of times people contact me and start with Mr. Abrahamson or Sir, or they think I am a man. So it's basically just showing that, hey, these are the pronouns that I want you to use when you're talking to me. So that's also a show of diversity, equity, and inclusion for people that use different pronouns: they, them, he, his, her, she. Again, it all depends on that person. So if you're erogenous or not, or if you have a male dominated name like Duke and you just happen to be female, and people still are expecting a, John Wayne to walk into the door, I want them to understand that I am a Miss she, her.
Duke, this is RJ.
Yes, RJ.
Just real quick, when I'm creating a post, it gives you the option of sending it to anyone.
Yes.
Or anyone plus Twitter or connections only. What's the?
I would make it public. I highly make it public because you want.
Make it anyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's because you want those posts to be viewable by other people outside of just your network.
Got it.
Now, if you are a little bit more exclusive in regards to your network and you're only sharing this with your network, or if it's an opportunity that you only want to share with your network, do that. I don't link it with Twitter because it shows up differently through Twitter, and any links through Twitter actually link back to LinkedIn and then open up. So I oftentimes when I post on Instagram, or I'm sorry, when I post on LinkedIn, I do a separate post on Twitter, because also the tags are different on Twitter. So if you're tagging a company or if you're tagging somebody on Twitter, their tags are different. So you want to make sure that you're using that platform to do those tags. So it's more work, but it shows the effort that you're putting into those posts when you do so.
Great, thank you.
So I'm going to close it out here. Thank you, everybody. This event is made possible through the MBDA CARES Act provided to APACC through our partnership with National ACE. And you can learn more about us and our events at apacc.net. Thank you, everybody. And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and send me questions if you have questions beyond what I answered to you today. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.